This episode of the Patriots Postgame Show is presented by DraftKings.
This is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
First down,
touchdown.
Dive to the end zone. Touchdown, Patriots.
Join the conversation by calling into the show at 855-PATS-500 or email us at podcast@patriots.com.
Hand off to Stevenson. Runs his left big hole across the 40. Cuts left at the 45. And steamrolls the defender there.
Live from our studio inside Gillette Stadium, this is the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings.
Thank you for checking in here with us to the Patriots Postgame Show, presented by DraftKings. The Patriots taking another win on the road, 25-19, the final score there in New Orleans, extending their win streak to 3 in a row. And get this, guys, their first 3-game win streak since 2022. Paul Perillo, Mike Dussault, Kwani Lunis. I know Matt Smith will be joining us soon. But what do you make of this win?
Another great step forward for Drake Maye. See, that's where I got to start with.
Mm-hmm.
But just stood out to me was
It would help if I talked into my mic. Sorry. I'm so excited by the win. I like they're just talking like
Truly
they're
just chatting as friends.
I'm stunned. I apologize. I'm a little bit frazzled.
You're good.
But no, to say what I said before into the mic now. No, it's just Drake Maye. You know, great game for him. Keyshawn Boutte, you know, to come out of the gate, throwing the ball down the field. I mean, this is just, you know, an element of the offense I think we've talked about for a while, that the offense has lacked just this dimension. Even when they were, you know, moving the ball back in those days, 2021, 22, was a lot of, you know, like what you saw today from the Saints, a lot of underneath stuff. And, you know, to see Drake having the confidence and the time to push the ball down the field, it was great. Boutte was great. Pop Douglas, nice game for him. Nice to see them do it without Diggs. And the last thing I would just say is, you know, nice job by the defense stepping up at the end and getting, you know, finally forcing some punts. They gave up a lot of completions today, but, you know, it was still a little hairy down going towards the end than I was expecting.
Yeah. Oh, what did you think of this?
Mostly everything that Mike said, I would say about, I would say 95%. That whole last part I do not co-sign with, but
the defense.
Drake Maye, just unbelievable. I think this was significantly better than last week. Last week was playground. Last week was, I'm an athlete. I'm going to run around. I'm going to improvise. And every time I'm going to do it, it's going to work. Today was just one great decision after another. The pocket manipulation, his ability to buy a little time here and there, the accuracy on balls downfield. I agree with Mike about Keyshawn Boutte, just balls all day. Big catches, contested catches, 5 targets, 5 catches, 93 yards, and 2 touchdowns. Demario Douglas, really physical today. Like, just looked like he had a little something extra in him. But it was, to me, it was all about Drake Maye. I thought the difference in the game was the Patriots were able to get some touchdowns, and the Saints had to settle for field goals. Nobody punted. So I don't have anything good to say about the defense. That's,
We'll
get to that part. I'm interested to dig a little
on the last
deeper.
drive, and you were able to get off the field. But that's about all I can say. I mean, I know Adam Marshalletta doesn't. No, it was a drop. No, Olave dropped the ball on the last drive.
Christian Ellis's fumble. No credit on that one either.
Nah.
Yeah,
I mean, that's a good forced fumble.
tough grader.
It's a good forced fumble, but it was another drive that the Saints moved into Patriots territory. Every drive the Saints had the ball, they moved. Every drive the Patriots had the ball, they moved. No defense did a thing today to stop the opposition. But to me, Drake Maye was a little bit better than Spencer Rattler, especially in the red zone and when plays, you know, the big plays to get in the end zone, I should say, not even red zone.
No, that's what I was going to say.
It was the Saints in the red zone. It was Drake Maye making big plays to eliminate the red zone as an option.
Yeah.
I think Maye was awesome today.
Yeah, I
Just
100%
awesome.
agree. His poise in the pocket, obviously very noticeable today, very comfortable today. And I think it should be noted, a year ago today was his NFL start, his first start for the Patriots. And so now we've been able to see, obviously, again, that season not as successful as we wanted it to be. But what would you two say when you think about the fact that this is a milestone at this point?
Yeah, well,
think about his growth.
I kind of like the way that, you know, he, in that game against the Texans last year here, he hit Keyshawn Boutte with a big touchdown down the field, and that's what he did today. And, you know, that to me is just the element that we've been kind of waiting for. We've talked a lot about, do they have the guy that can even do it? And, you know, maybe now they've maybe don't necessarily have that burner always down there, but it seems like schematically and with Drake and the way that the offense is syncing up, they're able to make those big plays down the field. And if they can continue to do that, I mean, what can't they do? You know, I mean, they will run the ball, but we'll get to that stuff. But no, it was just.
But I agree with you, Mike.
Just
if you can start getting chunk plays, because you have the stuff to Diggs when they got to have it plays underneath, Hunter Henry here and there. If you can start making chunk plays consistently, this offense can get very dangerous.
I mean,
like it was today.
Yeah, like Pop Douglas getting lost downfield. I mean, you know, and you saw he should have had two of them. You know, just really good awareness by him. So just great to see, especially on the. You know, we came out of last week being like, all right, what else they got between Maye and Diggs? Like Maye and Diggs, the playground thing, that's what they did last week. But this week they proved that they had some other targets that he could go to and, you know, still win again without a running game.
Well, at that point, I think it's time for us to get into all of the things that we need to recap for this game. Let's get into the good, the bad, and the injured.
Now it's time for the good.
Pretty good. It's pretty good.
The bad.
Hey, what happened?
And the injured.
You all right, Gay?
The good, the bad, and the injured is brought to you by Aaron's, the official lawnmower of the New England Patriots. They are proud to help Patriots fans get back to football. You can visit them at www.aarons.com to find your errands. All right, well, who wants the
Just keep
the
it going with
honor?
Drake. We got to just keep it going
talking about
with Drake, right?
Absolutely.
I mean,
Let's
that's
continue
just
to give him the flowers.
You know, it's
18 for 26, 261, and 3 touchdowns. Nothing resembling an interception. Just like I said, manipulating the pocket, moving around, throwing down the field, keeping his eyes up. You know, unlike what Chris Collinsworth said in the first half last week, keeping his eyes downfield, finding targets, allowing plays to unfold and develop. Just, he played a pretty flawless game. I'm sure, you know, like the coaches will go back and look at all the reads that he missed that we don't notice, but I'd be hard pressed to find a bad play by Maye in this game.
Yeah, and if I could add to that, I think the offensive line obviously played a huge role in that aspect of him being comfortable today. Just the way that they were able to get these blocks and stops for him, I thought was very helpful.
I mean, we're just watching these plays. It's just like, I'm not used to this. Like, you know, and now I'm almost like kind of getting some confidence in him of like when he does throw it in rhythm. I'm used to that sometimes, you know, watching opposing quarterbacks. When you drop back, you see him step right in and boom, throw it. You know, that's probably going to be a completion. You know, with Drake today, that's how it's starting to feel. I just got to talk about the last play, you know, to seal it, though. Just, you know, the confidence to go to Booty on that back throw, back shoulder throw up the sideline, perfectly placed. The awareness again by Booty, second week in a row to get down. I mean, I think he had to do it twice this week with catches that, you know, getting down.
I don't really
showing.
understand those plays. I'm not going to lie. I don't understand, like, what they deem is inbounds, out of bounds.
I know, right.
He had 2 feet down in bounds, and you got pushed, and he landed out of bounds, and it's out of bounds. It's in bounds.
Nobody knows
know.
what the refs were, what game they were watching.
I don't know. The referees don't have any idea what they were watching today.
They're on a list today for sure.
No, but you can't say enough great things about Drake, his development. You know, as he continues to just look comfortable and looking in command of the offense. And, you know, if you were a Patriots fan this summer saying, and this is what we talk about on our show all the time, it was like, we can talk about a lot of stuff, but really what matters is if Drake Maye takes the next step forward. And, you know, certainly
Drake
over
Maye
the last 2
about
weeks,
about
he's
5
taken
steps forward.
huge steps forward.
And I think when you think about the beginning of the game, when obviously we're going to get into the bad eventually, but Maye finding Pop Douglas for that 61-yard touchdown that we all agreed was a touchdown on paper. Yeah. It ggets called back, but I think also watching the way he was able to lead them back into the huddle with poise continuously, despite the fact that I love that the offense did not let the officiating rattle them, because there were multiple times where that could have been. I was upset. I was like, why is Vrabel so calm on the sidelines?
Yeah, no, there were a couple of those, and you know, those are the kind of calls that do test your mettle a little bit and your ability to be mental tough. I mean, look, we're being honest. You know, look, there was a lull. They came out in the second half.
They punted 3 times in a row, but then, one of those was ref-aided.
Yeah.
Just saying.
If we get into rough-aided, I'm going to lose my mind trying to keep track of what was what. But, you know, that was a little bit of a lull. And then, you know, to come back on the field, though, and have a chance to close it out and then doing it, that's good complimentary football. It wasn't, you know, perfect today for the whole team. And I think we can agree there's plenty of areas for this team to improve. But today you beat a team that you were a little more talented than, and you beat them by, you know, 6 points. It sounds about right.
Mike already talked about Booty, so I'll take on Douglas. I just thought that about 3 weeks ago, he didn't get any targets in the game, and he's getting pats on the back for throwing blocks. And I think that the reason that the coach did that was because he didn't see a drop-off in the commitment and the effort that Douglas had. And you saw that today. it's easy when you're catching passes like he did today, especially early on. He's a big, 3 catches, 71 yards, and a touchdown, and that doesn't count the one that got taken away. But you just see, I think, the effort that he's putting forth on some of these plays, the elusiveness after the catch. It's hard not to feel good for a guy like that. He had a real rough start to the season. Was that the play that he broke tackles on?
Well, that was the play, just on the last drive of the first half, where they throw him this little.
This one right here, yeah, he runs with some power.
But I mean, that's a drive starter. He gets out of bounds, and you feel like, all right, here we go.
If another receiver did that, I think we'd probably stop the show.
But he was a good complimentary piece. Credit to him, and I just was fascinated to see it happen down the field instead of what we all expect from Pop Douglas, which is little short, get open.
And Josh, like the little play action boot, deep over, like that's a nice early game play. Yeah. Like that was, again, this is why I'm so much happier about what happened today. Yeah. Even, last week obviously was a much bigger win for the team. I'm just talking about Drake Maye and the offensive performance.
Yeah.
This was conventional offense today. Now, yes, the Saints made some mistakes in the secondary. But this was like, we're going to dial up some plays, and we're going to make throws. Some of them are going to be open. Some of them aren't. But we're going to make throws into tight windows. We're going to make throws down the field that guys are open on. And when that happens, we're going to be really productive. Yeah. And it wasn't, well, our guy was just a better athlete than the guys chasing him around, and he made a play that, 3 people on the planet can make, which is kind of what the second half was last week, as great as it was to watch. It was unbelievable to watch. I liked today better.
Yeah, I was just going to give you a shout out, Paul, for saying they're going to get Booty involved.
Right,
and they got Booty, old LSU guy. They got him involved right from the get go. And, I know we talked about him a little bit, but just to, underline it with, a secondary threat, a guy that, clearly has Drake Maye's trust. And so now you're starting to see him throw the ball in tight situations to Diggs. Now he's doing it also to Booty. You're giving him a couple different places to go with the ball now. That he can feel comfortable. So it's a great sign for the Patriots offense to round out their threats.
You got another one, Mike? Kwani?
You have
anything?
Jones?
Yeah,
I had him defensively.
He was. Yeah,
but
I know. I thought he was active. I did write him down on my goods, to be honest. And I agree with Paul. Generally, there wasn't a whole lot to write home about Marcus Jones.
I had Marcus Jones on my good list.
Yeah, but he was involved in a couple different pass breakups.
3rd and 4 early pass breakup that forced a field goal.
Yeah, they're just showing it right there. And then I think he also had a sack, right?
He had a sack on a third down
to
late.
get off the field.
Yeah.
Which again, maybe a timely play call as well, but. No, I thought Marcus Jones was, again, that one is tight.
I didn't get any tweets on this one about maybe grabbing an arm on this one. It's funny. The officiating in this game was an atrocity. We'll get to that.
I'm want to get to the bad so bad.
I can't wait. Well,
but there's so much good.
Yeah, no.
So I agree with you on Marcus Jones.
Yeah. I mean, it's
good
not
game.
a light to write.
Back to back.
And I'm going to highlight. I got to highlight Ellis just simply for the forced fumble.
And he almost had a big play in the fourth quarter for Ellis. Absolutely,
kind of a one play on the good list, but when you're in the fourth quarter, they're driving, boom, boom, boom. It's like,
you're right about the other one where he sort of got himself in the way, made a nice pass breakup.
Yeah.
So it was 2. I agree. I had Ellis too.
It felt to me, and I mean, I mentioned it in the pregame show that their first 2 games at home were basically go down to the last drive.
Yeah.
First one went right down to in their end zone, having to make a play. So. It felt to me like that was the direction this game was heading until Ellis
went
punched
down
it
the
out.
last drive, and they made the play.
Yeah, and then in crunch time, and that's just another positive thing overall for the team. Just good play in the crunch time down the end. I mean, you saw it a little bit last week. You saw it in Miami when they won earlier this year. Just playing well with the game on the line. It's a hard thing to do, especially for a young team that they're playing a lot of rookies. Game on the line, you've got guys making plays to close it out, and I think that's a really good sign. That's something you can really build confidence off of.
Yeah, and I already mentioned the O-line earlier, but Will Campbell, I wrote him down just because, again, overall, the way that they were able to protect Maye and give him enough time to execute in the pocket today, I think that was, he needed that, obviously.
I mean, to get the ball, the ability to get the ball down the field. And then they fought. I mean, I think, we'll get into some of the run game stuff because I think that is just was a mess probably across the board. But that's kind of all I have. For individuals, Paul, do you have any? Some nuance for us?
I had just the run defense in general. I just want to continue to point out. I think that the Saints obviously don't want to have the offense Rattler's shoulders. And I give Rattler credit because without a running game, he still was able to be every bit as effective as Drake May was in this game. He opened my eyes with some of the throws he made. He probably deserved better. He had at least 2 or 3 balls dropped on him, a couple by Olave, who's a really good receiver. But the run defense really forced the Saints to be one-dimensional. Kendre Miller, 8 for 21. Alvin Kamara, 10 for 31. Just nothing really doing on the ground. The only positive plays they had was scrambles by Rattler, which is the same thing for the Patriots. The only positive running plays they had was scrambles by Maye.
I think the numbers were almost, they both rushed for 73 yards.
Yeah. So I would just, for an individual play, Mike and I have a little pet name for Charles Woods. We call him
Chucky Cheese.
We call him Chucky Trees.
I really like that, by the way. Very
him knocking
clever
the ball
on your
away
part.
from Olave, which was absolutely a catch and a fumble, by the way.
Yep.
Him knocking the ball away from Olave on that play, everybody is going to say, well, why didn't they challenge, whatever? Like, it's irrelevant. Like, him knocking it away prevented the first down. Like, he forced a fumble after he had already caught the ball past the first down sticks. They're going in to get points there, whether it's a touchdown to take the lead or a field goal, and then they would have only needed a field goal at the end of the game. So that was enormous. That was an enormous defensive play by my boy Chucky Trees.
Well, you just queued up the bad then, because now we can just talk about all the bad officiating, which was at the top of him.
I also had
Not yet.
you had more?
couple
Sorry.
things. I had the old school Mike double score. You get a nice 2-minute drive at the end of the first half, ends with a booty touchdown. Get the ball to start the second half. Minor points off for stumbling on 1st and goal from the 1 or from the 2 or whatever. They had the ball down to the 1-yard line there. They couldn't quite punch it in, but good job with the double score. 3 red zone stops in this game, an area that the Patriots have really been struggling in so far this year. So the difference in this game were those 3 red zone stops.
Right.
Like I said, Rattler just couldn't throw the ball into the end zone. Well, Olave couldn't catch it when he was there. And Maye had 3 dimes, for touchdowns. And you win the game by 6 points. The football math is pretty obvious in this one. Yeah. You were getting 7 when they were getting 3, and you end up winning the game by 6. So those red zone stops were huge. And just one minor thing, I know it wasn't a big game for him, but Stephon Diggs is just a professional.
Yeah.
He's just a professional.
Yeah.
3 catches, 3 targets, 28 yards, all resulted in first downs, I believe. One of them was on a key 4th down in the first drive of the second half, if I recall. Little quick slant. This might be it right here. 4th and 3. Boom. Pitch and catch. Easy as can be.
Yeah. Imagine if he didn't blatantly push off on that deep ball.
All right. now we can move on.
Right.
I'm going to have to excuse myself in this segment.
Well, I mean, I'll start us off with the rest because I just I'm not usually somebody who, I think you get some, you give some, but when there's just no rhyme or reason to any of the calls and you have no idea what you're supposed to do, sometimes it's a penalty, sometimes it's not a penalty. I struggle to remember a time when it cost 2 huge 50-yard plays, took them off the book for plays that you had to go back and put them under the microscope to see what was it.
Well, the Demario Douglas one is patently absurd, and I'm going to guess that there's not a person that's ever reffed an NFL game that would say that that's a penalty. The second one, I think there's a lot of guys that would have called. Yeah. But I would like right now, if Chris, if you could give me the one to Booty, the touchdown to Booty in the end zone at the end of the half, the one that's contested with, I think it's McKinstry. If you could give me, that in a second, I want to just show you just how absurd the officiating was in this game, because I think it's a good illustration of it's a penalty there, it's not a penalty there, and there just no rhyme or reason. I was joking around. Marcus Jones got a piece of Olave's arm in the end zone. It's not a penalty. It wasn't a penalty. They didn't call it then, but. Then everybody's looking for the call on Mac Hollins later. The difference between us and I don't think that the referees were out to give the Saints the win today. I think the referees are just so bad that they don't have any idea what they're doing. I mean, one time he's calling the penalty the wrong way. If you watch this, there's a little bit of a push right there. That's not really any different than what Diggs did on the deep ball. You could have called both of them. You could have called neither of them. But my point is, they don't have any idea. They just flip coins.
Yeah.
And I don't really understand it. I don't really understand it. And like I said, there's at one point the guy is calling the penalty to the wrong side. Like the camera's on. I mean, like these guys are NFL refs. They know where they're supposed to be looking. There's just no control of the game. That's the best way I can put it. There's no control of the game. And for them to call the offensive pass interference on Diggs early in the game,
Didn't make sense,
running a route like 5 yards, 8 yards from the line of scrimmage.
I didn't even see the flag get thrown.
It must have been a late flag. I didn't see it either.
I don't understand it. I don't,
see it.
it just doesn't make any sense to me.
Wait, pool report on this one, Paul? You think we're going to get the pool report?
They need to ask about that.
Yeah, I mean, my guess is we won't get the questions that we need answered. But I'm tired of this. There was an illegal shift. I think they called Stevenson and Diggs were in motion at the same time. Stevenson's in the backfield, standing next to Drake Maye to Maye's left for the entirety of the pre-play. And yes, he moved around, but like, why is that a penalty? It's not a penalty. That happens like every play. Like, I don't understand. It was a rant that I went on this week with these illegal formations, these illegal shifts, why they've suddenly become so prevalent in the NFL. There's no linebacker that's ever been fooled by what Ramondre Stevenson was doing on that play. I'm just tired of it. I know everybody was looking for this from me. I don't want to watch these games anymore. I don't find that was a really exciting game with a lot of big plays, and I found it boring because every play that happened, I just said, "Oh, there was no flag on that play," or "Yeah, flag." That's what I'm reduced to watching.
Yeah. And then they start making
that was
big
a good
plays.
game today. That was I give the Saints credit. They were a little bit better than I thought they were. Because I think the Patriots played really, really well today.
Yeah.
And they couldn't get any separation from a team that I thought was one of the worst teams in football. So, unfortunately, the refs ruined the enjoyment of it for me because I just was looking for a flag on every play.
Yeah, I know. Well, here's this one, too, which is just, yeah, right. And somehow, now, is the side judge here who's right next to it? Is he?
No, it's the guy from the back that sees that. It's a push. Like, I'm not saying he didn't do it. I'm just saying have some consistency to the way you call it. That's all I'm asking for. I'm not suggesting that like he just created a phantom penalty.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that happens on a lot of back shoulder plays. And they just pick and choose when they call it.
Yeah.
They're impacting games.
I know. If the Patriots had lost this one, maybe it would have been sick about those couple of plays.
And that's what I think the beauty of it is that despite
I didn't even like the holding call on Chason early in the game. I know that like the guy had the arm up, but I think Chason slipped, which caused the arm, like Kelvin Banks' arm to come up.
No,
I mean, it looks really bad when you see it. I know why he called it. They'd be better off if they just put someone out there, put a robot out there to spot the ball and just let them play. Yeah. Like they get in the way.
Yeah.
Every game they get in the way. They disrupt the flow.
Brutal. And it's making me, and I don't usually do this, like I want to look up the refs before the game now to be like, what are we in for? What are these guys?
See, I'm the opposite. I don't want to know who these guys are, but somehow I do. Somehow I know who every one of them is.
They want you to know. They want you to know. Well,
all right. I promise I'm done.
Yeah, all right. Well,
until Tuesday, when Fred tells me that they were all good calls.
Yeah, let's move on to the running game because we've been kind of flirting with that all day. 31 carries, 73 yards, 2.4 yards. The only difference was the Saints only had 23 carries, so they had 3.2 yards, but similar ineffective. And, Paul, you said it, some of the talking points this week for the advanced analytics were like, they're getting what's blocked and then not much more. There was not much blocked there today either.
No, they were actually saying the opposite. They should have even had more because there's blocks that are there for yards to be gained and they're not getting them. And I lost count.
All the ones we're showing right here
I lost count of how many of these there were today. Like, I'm sorry, I don't know how many yards Stevenson could have gotten on that if he had just made the proper cut.
Or
the one with poor Henderson in the fourth quarter got hit as he had the ball. He was like 2 yard loss before he could even approach the line of scrimmage, let alone break a tackle.
I mean, it'll be obvious, I think, today with the negative runs because there were a number of, this is one right here. I mean, they just have nothing with the run game.
That's the one I think I was thinking of.
Which makes it, kind of more remarkable that they were still able to throw the ball. And, I think that was maybe part of why the Patriots offense stagnated in the third quarter and started to just kind of, couldn't really move the ball anymore.
Long yardage situations.
They get into, so I'm not sure what the answer is because they're down to two guys right now. You didn't see, Terrell Jennings get any carries. They put it on Ramondre. Credit to Ramondre and Henderson. They were safe with the ball despite the workload. But overall, it's going to be a really hard way to live. And if this team does have aspirations of not just winning, more than 4 games, but trying to make some noise and get into the playoffs, like, you're going to have to find a way to run the ball. And it's just surprising because of everything. When you look at their offensive line, I thought, all right, well, I think maybe they'll be able to run the ball. I don't know how well they're going to pass protect, but when it's really been the opposite, which is one of the biggest surprises to me. Not sure what the answer is, but I'm sure that's going to be your talking point du jour this week. What's up with the running game? How do they get it going?
And obviously, the last few weeks, the conversation has been Ramondre Stevenson and, the fumbles and his lack of production, so to speak, on offense. But are you okay with the fact that he is still getting more touches than Henderson?
I mean, they just don't have a choice. It's like, what else are they going to do? Like, clearly they're not ready to say, hey, Terrell Jennings, let's give you a chance and see what you can do. We think, he's a breaking the glass in case of emergency kind of guy. So whether it's looking maybe at the trade deadline as teams, fall out of the playoff race, maybe somebody's willing to deal somebody, but, it's hard to see them surviving the next 2.5 months with just these 2 running backs and, not just surviving, but making like a thriving running game out of them. I think they might need to find some help.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. It's got to be Stevenson. They're not getting anything from anybody else either.
Yeah.
If there was another guy coming in, every once in a while, you just change the back and it suddenly looks different, then I'd be all for it. Hey,
Gibson sometimes would be that kind of guy.
Let's see what it looks like, with Henderson. Let's see what it looks like with Gibson. Obviously, they don't have the option with Gibson. Henderson has been, ineffective. Yeah. And it's not, I don't put it on him. I don't put it on Stevenson or Henderson. I don't think there's been a tremendous amount of running room. Yeah. He averaged 3 yards a carry today. 3. That's not good. Now, Stevenson was 1.4. They combined for 22 carries for what? 45 yards. That's just not going to get it done. Those are your 2 lead ball carriers. You try. 22 carries is a good number.
You're trying to get it. You're trying to
number.
Find
They gave him chance. They gave him opportunities early to get the running game going. It didn't happen. They gave him opportunities late to run the clock out. It didn't happen. They had to throw the ball to get their last 2 first downs to end the game. I don't know what the answer is, but it's just not been good enough so far.
Yeah.
Got Pop Douglas on the line.
Okay, perfect. We're welcoming in Pop Douglas.
Hey, Pop.
Hey,
there you are.
how y'all doing?
You're good. Are you on the phone? You might want to turn
Yes.
turn it sideways.
Turn it sideways.
There you go. Perfect.
Hey, Pop, how'd you get so free for those big games? What are you doing playing down the field like that, man? It was cool to see you making those big plays.
Thank God. I was open. Open.
Yo.
I can't hear him.
Oh, can you hear us all right?
Kind of.
Yeah, okay, cool. So just what was your thought going into this game? Was there an emphasis on trying to push the ball down the field? Because it seemed like you guys came out just chucking it.
Oh, nah, the game plan was, just go out there and play. It just happened to be like that. Just me down the field, and I'm blessed.
So, DeMario, I also like there was I think it was the last drive of the first half, the 2-minute drill to get it started, Mike. Is that the one? Quick little screen out to you. You got a full head of steam, and you look like Ramondre Stevenson in the moving the pile forward on that, get the drive started.
Yes, sir. I wanted it bad, so just hurry up and get out of bounds and get the first down.
Yeah, you go.
I was going to say, Pop, you've been around here for a little while. It's been a while since we've seen 3 wins in a row, 2 on the road, back to back. What can you just say about the energy in the locker room after this 3rd straight win for you guys?
Man, it's a blessing. I salute the guys, man. It feels so good, have winning. And man, started with the coach, bringing us closer together, and then as players getting closer too. And getting to know each other. I feel like that's why we play for each other.
Okay. Well, thank you so much for breaking up. So congratulations. Go enjoy the win and have a great week.
Thanks, Pop. We'll see you back in Foxborough. Safe travels.
Safe
Thank you,
travels.
guys.
Safe travels as soon as you get back. Yeah,
Thank you.
We had some issues with his audio, but you can see the smile on his face, and you can tell
The
that
joy.
the locker room. Seriously, like that's all they heard all week was that was great, but.
Yeah.
That was good, but, beat Buffalo, but it doesn't matter if you can't beat New Orleans.
Yeah.
So I thought that was, you kind of see that on his face. And for him individually, as I mentioned at the top, been a trying month of September for him. Month of October looks like it's trending in the right direction for him. I think it kind of looked like that. I think he was relieved to make some plays and be a big contributor.
No, for sure. It was good. Good to see him. I mean, I know it's been tough for him. I mean, there's been a couple of times where people are like, "Where's Pop?" And he did have a really good summer. He seemed like he was really involved, and it's just a reminder that you need everybody. And somebody maybe doesn't have an overly productive September. You don't cut bait and move on and give up on guys. You need guys to stay with the program, stay focused, and be ready for games like this because they're going to need everybody, and especially that receiving room and especially the running backs. They're going to need everybody. So even if some things aren't going great right now, they're going to need to find a way to continue to round this offense out like we saw today with Pop and Booty. And if those guys continue to deliver and giving Drake options, it's a good thing for this offense.
Any more good and
we're back to the bad.
So bads, we'll pick it up.
Game.
So Mike talked about the running game. So that sequence at the end of the drive to open the second half, they're down there, 3rd and goal from the 1, and they get I think they lost some yards and made it to the 4.
Yeah.
And then they get a delay of game, which puts it back to the 8. Just bad sequence there. Bad situational football. You get the ball inside the 5, goal to go inside. I think it was either to the 2 or the 1. You got to score touchdowns.
Yeah.
1st and goal from inside the 5. You got to get touchdowns, and they didn't. And part of the reason they didn't is their own sloppiness with the penalties. Again, their inability to run the ball. On the first 2 plays, they gave Stevenson. I think Stevenson got a yard on 1st down. I think he lost 2 yards on 2nd down, maybe 3.
Yeah.
But a bad sequence there. Didn't like that.
Yeah. Kind of struggle with how to say this one because I felt like this game unfolded a lot like I thought it was going to, and that Spencer Rattler was going to throw a lot of short passes, and the Patriots were going to have to come up and tackle, and that largely bore itself out. But the 3rd down numbers are okay for them, but it's just 1st and 2nd down. And I almost want to say specifically 2nd down, where they were just getting carved up the whole game. So maybe I'll just say 2nd down defense.
So let me stop you for a quick second because I couldn't possibly agree with you more. But who would you say played better offensively today, the Patriots or the Saints?
I mean, I'd probably say the Saints were a little more consistent throughout.
So I would say the Patriots were the better offensive team, right?
Yeah.
They scored more touchdowns, blah, 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 blah.
Mm-hmm.
They were 6 for 13 on 3rd down. They had 13 3rd downs. The Saints only had 9 3rd downs all day.
Yeah.
That's to illustrate
my thing. 2nd down defense.
To illustrate your point, they didn't need 3 downs to get 1st downs most of the day. They only punted twice.
Yeah, right.
No,
I'm glad that backs me up because to your point, 1st down, the run defense, I mean, generally speaking, pretty solid. I mean, there were a lot of, 2-3 yard games.
The run defense was good.
And then you get to 2nd down, and it just felt like Rattler's doing pitch and catch with guys. So I don't know what the answer is there because, he's good at that. And I know that that's kind of, vaguely how Tom Brady and the Patriots kind of wanted to just boom, over and over and over. And,
Right.
But at the same time, you have to figure that there are going to be maybe an interception, maybe a drop. Nobody's going to complete 100% of their passes. And as the volume stacks up, you hope that mistakes start to happen. They lived by a paper-thin margin. They needed every play they got today. But it sounds weird, but I guess I'm sticking with second down defense.
Okay.
And I look forward to punching the numbers when you're
I like it.
They were.
I do. I like it because they didn't make them get to 3rd down very often until later in the game. And that's when you give yourself a chance on 3rd down.
And they were 3 and 9 on 3rd down.
Right.
I mean,
you give yourself a chance, you can get off the field. They weren't giving themselves a chance.
Yeah.
I mean, there were too many long drives today, and I thought you're right about Rattler. You know, he did complete a lot of short passes, but he also had guys open deep from the first pass of the game. Another one that Carlton Davis had to commit a penalty to prevent another long pass, which I think should have been caught anyway. Olave is like really, really good.
Yeah.
But I thought he failed to make a number of catches today that he could have made.
I'm flying.
Yeah, this one. So
It's like
I didn't.
Colston out
So
there.
this is Kyle Duggar getting run right by here. Okay, so he's the guy that you have in place of Jalen Hawkins today.
Right.
So you decide to put him on an island against the other team's best receiver and blitz on the first play of the game. out of the slot, Carlton Davis. I didn't really understand some of those things. Now, I don't want to be a hypocrite. The blitz with Marcus Jones late in the game ends up being a great call, and it ends up working. Not because it worked. It was a great call, I think, at that time of the game, where I think you have a better athlete sort of chasing down, making sure that Rattler can't get out of the pocket. I didn't like that they had an all-out blitz on 2 of the first 4 plays of the game. Now, one of them they ended up getting away with. They got the third down pass defense by Marcus Jones on Olave, who had good coverage on Olave. I didn't really see the need to blitz Rattler like that, and why not see if he can prove that he can, you know, he can beat you first. I thought they were overly aggressive.
Yeah, it reminded me a little bit of the Raiders game where I think Jalen Hawkins got put in a similar position where you have a zero. I agree. A little different. You had a zero blitz coming, but that safety's kind of in no man's land where it's like the blitz is coming. We're expecting the ball to come out quick, so be ready. You might be able to pick it off. But where Rattler there steps up and buys himself a little time, and now instead of the ball coming out quick, the ball's coming out a little bit later, and you're getting run by, and it could be a big play. It's just, I hear what Paul's saying. Sometimes these aggressive blitzes put safeties in a really tough position.
Yeah, I mean, that's 5 yards of separation right there.
And he's got a head full of steam, and you're thinking the ball's either coming out right now or it's going.
And you know what else I'm thinking? I know this is silly. It's NFL football, and it shouldn't matter this much, but like, don't you think an underdog like the Saints getting a play like that on the first play of the game just injects energy and believability?
Yeah, absolutely.
Right off the go, like that to me was an ill time. I don't want to beat up on it too much. I just thought it was an ill time.
Interesting first play of the game or calling a corner blitz
right off the top.
Saying. I mean, it's, it speaks to their aggressiveness, but at the same time, it's sometimes you're going to be a little over aggressive, but live by the blitz, die by the blitz. That's kind of their philosophy, I think.
So I had there's another sequence. The one drive that did not result in points in the first half. 3rd and 7 from roughly the 44-yard line, 43-yard line of New Orleans. It was just a flat
Stevenson
draw up the middle. Like, I'm like, what are we doing?
Yeah.
Like, they haven't stopped a pass yet.
Yeah.
Let Drake cook. Let's move the chains.
Yeah.
So it gets stuffed. So they don't get it. They go for it on 4th down, which I didn't hate going for it on 4th down. I would have kicked a field goal, 57, I think it was, 58-yard field goal, something like that. I would have kicked a field goal. I would have given it a shot, but they went for it, and then, it gets exacerbated by Bradbury had an errant snap, and they end up getting stopped. But I thought that was weird. That whole thing, just the decision to do that.
Yeah. The only thing I thought about, the only thing I thought, and I agree with the play call we're seeing right here on the replay, and I would just say that I think it was maybe a play or two before there was a run where it said, there's some room inside. I think we both commented so I almost could see what Josh was tempted by. I think with I don't know, it seems like there's a little space inside. That's kind of him. I think sometimes he takes a shot at those, and when they don't work, it's terrible, and when they do work, he's a genius. So this is one of the ones that didn't work, and he's not a genius, but. No, I agree. Just some of the sequencing, not great. But at the same time, I'm trying not to have the same feeling that you had the last 2 years with the offense, where when you miss points, it was devastating because you don't know if you're getting back down there again. And so, I think Drake is starting to instill a little bit of flexibility in that. All right, we do have some play ability.
I think he allows you to go for these 4th downs.
Yeah,
because he's such a threat. Yeah,
problem.
Decision-making, his athleticism, everything.
Can we talk about that for a second? Just the decision-making. I mean, let's talk about it, because I think that was one of the things that scared me most about him. And even into the first game of the season, I think that's what people were killing Drake May for,
Still low-key worries me.
Well, the Henderson,
once or twice a game, he does something that I say, oh, boy.
Yeah, well,
that was the one today.
Right, and it's like that fine line between wanting a guy who's creative and kind of fearless in certain moments, and I guess there's a fine line between fearless and stupid. And I guess it just depends on if the play works or not. But just his ability to be safe with the ball. And, there were a couple sprays today, but none that really killed you. I think maybe it was the second or third of the last drive. There were a couple, where was that one going?
It was weird. It just kind of looks different when he throws the ball to Kyle Williams.
Yeah, that's a good point.
There was a couple today that were off, but, I mean, he still was 60, a shade under 70% today.
No. So I just think that progress has been really remarkable from him, and just something that, to be honest, was my biggest concern of just, is there always going to be 1 or 2 plays per game where, he's going to make a bad decision, put the ball in harm's way, and he's really been that's good pull guys there, and I think maybe these are both on Kyle Williams, which is kind of strange. Yeah. And no, you're right.
And you just wonder if that has anything to do with Kyle Williams. I'm not trying to blame
going to the wrong spot.
Yeah, I'm not trying to blame the rookie, but
you're right.
Just wondering. Borregales missed the landing zone again today. I just don't like giving up free yards.
Yeah.
Don't give up free yards.
What's the landing zone? Pop.
Never.
Pop. That's kind of it.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the game, in the fourth quarter, you're trying to protect a 6-point lead. You got a 3rd and 7. You commit 3 straight penalties. I know one of them was the offensive interference on Diggs, but you had already committed penalties to make that kind of a prayer.
3 in a row.
So just the sloppiness there. You got to tighten it up. The game's on the line.
I mean, what did you do? You went from like a 3rd and 7 to then like a 3rd and 12.
3rd and 27.
3rd and 27. 3 straight calls. Twice you thought you had it. It's just that was a frustrating sequence. And
yeah, the 3rd and 17 is the one that they converted on the bomb to Diggs. To Diggs. And then they called offensive interference to make it 3rd and 27, the one that they tried to heave up to Hollins that ended up getting incomplete. But yeah, too many. That was the original 3rd and 7 conversion to Hollins across. That got called back for holding, I believe, right?
Yeah.
Was it holding?
I think the first one was
that was the shift. That was the shift. You're right.
Yeah.
That was the one that really bugged me.
What do we got here from Moses? Yeah.
That one was a false start. So that's the 3 straight penalties. The illegal shift, then the false start, then the offensive interference.
Lynchy.
So you can't do that. You can't, you're trying to put the game away. You can't just allow the other team to stop you, but just by stopping yourself. That's just, you can't play it that way. But this is nitpicking season.
Yeah, but
so
that's how you grow.
That's the other thing is, I'm going to guess we're going to get some calls. They're going to be like, they won the game. They won 3 in a row. We're treating you like a good team now.
Yeah.
You're 4-2. You're in the playoff structure as we stand now. We're treating you as such.
Mm-hmm.
So these are the kinds of things that get you beat when you play good teams.
Yeah, no question.
That's what we're talking about. We're not talking about comparing it to the 4-13 of last year or the 4-13 of the year before. We're talking about comparing you to other teams that expect to be playing in February.
Yeah,
that's good.
And that's the running game is clearly not good enough. And I just I wonder about the defense. I wonder where they really are. They scare me. It's like they've been kind of winning by the skin of their teeth a couple times.
I'll just say, to your point, for your positivity about the defense, they have found a way to make the plays when they need to be made.
Yeah.
They don't always look good during the course of the game, but they haven't given up that backbreaking drive to lose a game yet.
Yeah.
And they've had opportunities in virtually every game except for the Carolina one.
Yeah, I kind of feel, will the real defense step up? I mean, I love the run defense, and I think that's really been an element that's won me over. But it hasn't really seemed to come together yet for them. And I'm interested to hear about the defensive approach to this game because it lined up kind of like I thought it would. And do you want to be more aggressive? Because it felt like they were aggressive at times, but at the same time, it just felt like everything was open underneath. There were so many times, like I talked about, the quarterback drops back to pass in rhythm, and you're like, yep, here comes a completion. Just because you can tell by the way he throws the ball, there were way too many of those tonight. Mm-hmm. Credit to Spencer Rattler. Maybe he is an okay quarterback. And I think it's kind of like what I think they wanted out of Mac Jones a couple years ago. Just take the easy stuff. Take the easy stuff. But the problem, as we see, is that it's hard to sustain it through a whole game.
Mm-hmm.
That is true. It is hard. The defense, you said, like looking for the real. I think this is kind of what passes as defense now.
Crazy.
But I think this is what
sack, a big play, sack.
Well, I don't have a lot of sacks.
No, not a lot of sacks.
They've made some big plays, like the ones that we highlighted from Marcus Jones. I thought were really big plays. Those were Gonzalez last week. When the game needs to be won, you've been able to make a play here and there. It was Milton Williams with the sack against Miami to win, to hold on and win that one. At some point, it's a tough way to play. If you'll just let the other team move the ball every time they get it, they don't force a lot of punts. Let's just put it that way. They don't force a lot of punts, and only 2 today.
Yeah, cray. We're moving on to the injured.
Yeah.
Shall we? Well, I thought Harold Landry thought, hey, we'll see you next
that
year.
looked worse than
he
it,
returned to the game.
And the CBS report told us he went into the tent for 6 minutes and then went right back into the game.
That's pretty remarkable. I mean,
Yeah.
You watch this right here.
I just
I don't
Like his leg is kind of down.
Yeah.
Like I thought there was a chance that was going to be maybe just a hyperextension.
Yeah.
I say just a sprain.
I know, right?
But I think they thought on the broadcast, though, that
looked
looked like a
worse.
torn ACL
Yeah.
or something. But
Ugh.
hopefully he's dodged a bullet.
Yeah.
We'll see. Sometimes you don't know the full extent of those until you get checked out. And,
Yeah, I mean, he's a critical part of the team, and that to me, losing him would just be a humongous blow.
and that's my concern about the team in general. Is I just think it's razor thin in terms of depth, and
Yeah.
you lose, a half dozen quality players that they have. They don't really have a lot of people behind
and
them.
he's one of those
And he's one of
keystone
those
pieces
guys,
that
yeah.
like you pull him out, especially with the injuries that they've had at that position. Where I mean, it was like, oh boy.
What did
Yeah.
you see, Mike, when they took him out? That handful of plays he was out, it
Yeah.
looked like they were 4-3.
Yeah, it looked like they brought Tavai on, and they went more like a heavy 4-3 kind of a look instead of that like 4-2 look they've been playing mostly. So, yeah, look at that. I mean, he came back in, gave him back the flexibility they needed, but yeah, he's hugely important, and you got to imagine he really wants to play next week against the
absolutely.
Yeah,
Titans.
I thought it was
Exactly.
interesting on early downs with the four-man front. They had Milton Williams outside,
Yeah,
with Tonga and Barmore inside and Chase on, obviously.
Some different
and then
looks, I mean-
on sub packages, they went back to the inside. Fine, see, like I like to
Talking
set.
schemes.
I set Mike up
Yeah,
for defense
I
because
love
Mike,
it. Yeah, that's
Mike,
his- he
had him
said
at the
it.
5 technique.
Mike claims that he's a
He's a
defense
defensive guy.
So
That's the first thing I learned about you.
I feed his ego.
I gotta
and
break.
I
I
just
think
gotta.
it's
Well,
great.
I gotta break the film down. It's how I'm writing, and it's too much happening live.
Yeah.
That's why I gotta check the film on that
You
one.
need
But
a whole week
That's the
to
beauty.
really.
That's the beauty of me. I
doesn't need it. He doesn't need to do extra
I
work.
saw all those
It
penalties
looks great.
once. I didn't need to see all those penalties
Oh,
again.
boy. Yeah, I'm definitely gonna go back and watch those. Carlton Davis had his weekly. I'm down. I'm up.
Yeah.
I'm back.
It's a little mean.
He usually
There are a lot of
seems to-
memes about that.
He usually seems to come back in. He's
Yeah.
okay, and he's okay.
Exactly. As long as he's okay, that's the
So
most important.
did
right?
they say he was evaluated for a concussion?
I think so. I think
Yeah.
the spotter
Yeah.
got him. The spotter might have gotten him. And then Marcus Jones looked like he was a little banged up
Yeah, but
too
he-
on that Chuck E. Cheese forced fumble, which was
he
incomplete.
stayed down
but-
for a while there.
But he didn't
but
go
he
in the
was
tent for that
he was
one,
back
so.
in too. So that was those
all
are the
three,
three
all
that I
three
got.
returned.
Yeah.
All three on defense, but talk about living on that thin ice. It's just that's the big thing. We can talk about the run game. We can talk about some of the plays they gave up on defense, but ultimately, really, I think the thing under the surface is just the depth of the team, and that if you do pull out a Harold Landry or a Will Campbell or a Robert Spillane, it's
whole-
you don't have a lot of depth or young depth to like hold the fort for any amount of time. So staying healthy is a huge key for every team. This time of year, you just never know what the season's going to draw. Good injury luck, bad injury luck.
Right.
So far, they've been really lucky. So hopefully that, knock on wood,
Right.
continues.
All right. Well, we're getting some calls in. Of course, Christian in LA, another regular. Hi, Christian.
Hey, you guys, a win today, a little sloppy, a little disjointed, but a win nonetheless. But that's not the good news. The good news is we won and looked pretty good and haven't played our best football yet, which I do believe is coming.
I don't know about that.
Secondly,
I think they played pretty well today.
Well, we won the game. We didn't turn the ball over.
Yeah.
We didn't give up a bunch of points. That's a pretty good win in the NFL. Everybody plays hard in the NFL.
I agree.
Everybody
I think they
plays-
played pretty well today. I'm disagreeing with you saying they didn't. I think they played well.
No, I said it was a little sloppy, a little disjointed.
Yeah.
But the good news is that we didn't play our best football yet. That's the good news. Secondly, it's kind of apparent that Kyle Williams and Drake May aren't getting enough reps together in practice because he seems to have pretty good rhythm and timing with every other receiver except Kyle Williams. And then lastly, I got two new phrases. They used to have let Russ cook. I got let Drake bake and big, beautiful booty. I'll talk to you guys on Tuesday.
Oh,
Thanks,
Christian,
Christian.
that was too much. Well, look, that's why you see Kyle Williams getting the snaps that he gets, and I mean, there was a few targets today, whereas I think the last couple of weeks there have been one or two maybe. So, they're trying to get him going. It is a little bit of a work in progress. It's also been a work in progress with Pop Douglas, who had a good game today, and Booty's been up and down too. So, again, I just think it's about patience, but I love Kyle Williams' skill set. I think, he's a guy that really could contribute. They need him to continue to develop. And, if injuries hit, he's the next man, into a more significant playing role. So hopefully, if that does happen, by that point, he's a little bit more up to speed. But I agree. I mean, Paul called it out at real time, saying it just looks a little bit disjointed between those guys right now.
Yeah, with Kyle Williams, I would say that I agree with the disjointed. For the team, I don't think that they look disjointed. Like that, the worry to me heading into the game was, people were like, I don't know if I'm going to call it a trap game, but, will they not be ready to play? Nope. They were ready to go.
Yeah.
They were absolutely ready to go. Offensively, they were on fire to start the game. And I thought they played really well. And, I give the Saints credit. I thought the Saints played really well, too. And they stayed with them. Yeah. It was a good game. I mean, it was a good competitive game, back and forth all day.
I just say, I hope we haven't seen their best football yet, but how do you know you haven't seen their best football yet? How do you know that this isn't
my point.
What they are? I mean, this is a really good offense. And
I don't know. You scored touchdowns the first 3 times you had the ball today, no? Like, you think you're going to do that every week? I mean, they played well today.
Yeah. No, they're putting it together. There's still things to be put together. But, like you said, Paul, now we're starting to evaluate them on, like, a real contender report card. And, if you can't run the football and you get to the winter months, especially around here where, it's going to be a little bit harder to throw the ball. Drake is the most experienced quarterback playing in cold weather. So, that to me is a huge part of the puzzle. We'll see.
All right, let's take it to Houston where Paul is. Hi, Paul.
Paul?
Kwani.
Hey, Paul.
Deuce.
Hey.
How we doing?
Hi.
What up?
All right, so today's game, what can I say? The phrase is not getting old here.
What's that?
I think he said we got our guy, I think.
I know Fred's not there today.
Yeah, so we got our guy.
Yeah, I mean, Drake is the real deal. He played a great game today.
Yeah.
As you said earlier, Paul, every decision, there is nothing close to an interception. So nothing to complain about there. But the defense, oh, my goodness. We've got some issues. I mean, we couldn't stop a leak. Neither team punted until midway through the third quarter. So I think we've got some adjustments to make there. I know it was a major scare when Landry went out and went to the medical tent. We can't afford to miss that guy. But so I know we won the game. Everybody was expecting for us to have a letdown. I do have something to nitpick about. So if this is the way we're going to play and we're playing ahead, when it's time to win the game and we're becoming so predictable with running the ball on every first down, when you're playing against good teams and they can dial in and be ready to, be able to predict what you're running like that, I mean, and with the defense playing like that, this is not a recipe for a winning team in late November, December, going into the playoffs. And I'll take this offline.
Thanks, Paul.
Yeah, I mean, that's just, that's what we were just talking about. And, is it, I mean, I think it's all connected, and that's the thing. They're going to say, we need to all, the line needs to do a better job blocking, and the running backs need to do a better job of getting what's there. But it's just, there's just no dynamic element of the running game right now. So it's just 3 yards in a cloud of dust at its best.
I would just push back a little bit. If you want to be a good team, like you said, like you can't do that against good teams. If you want to be a good team, that's exactly when you have to be able to run the ball. When the other team knows you're running it. That's how you put games away. You don't want to rely on your quarterback for absolutely everything. In the last 2 weeks, you kind of had to do that offensively. So I agree with Paul said. It's a nitpicking kind of thing. You're running the ball on first down. They need to run it more effectively on first down. When they're doing it. The problem is they just haven't been able. Mike had the numbers. You just haven't been able to do anything. Running the ball.
Just a little bit on Rattler. He completed 77% of his passes today. He had 74 against the 49ers. He had 72% against the Seahawks. So I mean, the other two games were 66, 67. So I mean, he's a guy that's going to complete a lot of passes. I don't know how you disrupt that. And that's kind of the player he's becoming. And I mean, I like the approach. It's just the big plays bother me. And I wonder if, are we just playing zone and sitting back and watching?
This is my issue today. I'll say this is what I'm going to push back a little bit because of the Mike Dussault defensive guru thing. So this is Mike and I.
I never claimed to be a guru.
We're like Mutt and Jeff. So this is the Saints, because you brought up the Saints coming into the game. You know, like this is what Rattler has done. Olave averaged 7.4 yards a catch heading into today. Kamara averaged 4.5. Brandon Cooks 8.6. Juwan Johnson 9.2. Okay, Olave averaged 16.3 yards a catch today. Cooks only had one catch, but it went for 21 yards. So Kamara averaged 9 yards a catch today on 5 catches. So that's double what his average. So yes, there's some short throws, but today for Rattler, it wasn't just short throws. He was able to get the ball downfield too. Now there was the percentage is 70 whatever, 77 you say?
Yeah. I think it's...
Because he threw a bunch of, he's got 6 of his completions to running backs. I mean, those are short little throws, but 6 for 98 for Chris Olave. He's by far and away their number one receiver. That's too much. And I'm telling you, that could have been, 8 or 9 for 150. Olave dropped a couple of really, really important passes today. Now, he was really good in the game, and he almost made that catch that they ruled. He fumbled on it. They ruled it an incomplete pass. Then that was a great catch with good coverage. But I think the coverage has been a little leaky, Mike. Another one that doesn't show up is the play that Carlton Davis holds Olave. I thought they consistently let guys behind them today, and that's supposed to be the cardinal sin. Now, you want to be really one defensive coordinator who's really upset has got to be Brandon Staley. Like that's supposed to be the whole meaning for his being is the too deep shell and not letting anything over the top. And the Patriots were behind them all day.
Yeah.
For a big shot play, chunk play after another. So yes, I think the 77% is largely because of what Mike said. There's a lot of short throws, but I think they allowed too many big throws today too.
Yeah, just jumping into some of the next gen stats that are up now. Highlighting Christian Gonzalez was recorded for giving 6 receptions, up on 7 targets for 57 yards. That was by far the most volume. Marcus Jones 3 catches on 7 targets with 3 pass defenses, so that kind of backs up his solid day. The other thing I wanted to highlight was pressure. And next gen has Patriots giving up a lot of pressure today.
I would agree with that.
Morgan Moses and Will Campbell both giving up 5 quarterback pressures each, with Will Campbell credited with 3 quick quarterback pressures. Other pressures, Jared Wilson with 3, Austin Hooper with 1, Garrett Bradbury with 1. But yeah, those tackles, similar to last week when they both had 3 allowed, giving up some pressure off the edge. And overall the pressure rate was interesting to me. They have, here we go. Oh, hold on, down there, scroll. So yeah, for pressure rate, they have the Saints with a 58% pressure rate with 18 pressures. They have the Patriots are 46.7, which is, both are very good, but the Saints obviously 58.1. That's a very, very high pressure rate. So
it's funny how the numbers can lie. I thought the Saints had a lot of pressure. I didn't think the Patriots had much at all.
No, I know, neither did I. That's probably the bigger surprise to me. Just in terms of man zone splits, they had the Patriots 70% man coverage.
Yes.
And 23, and then they had the Saints 74%. So I was just digging into some of the next
It is
if
interesting.
We hold the thought, and we'll go to break. We'll be right back. Stick around.
This Patriots Postgame show is brought to you by Massachusetts 250 campaign, commemorating a history of possibility. Plan your revolutionary weekend at massachusetts250.org. And by Brunt Workwear. They make work boots and apparel that are built for the job site. Their gear is comfortable, durable, and named after the real workers in the trades that helped design it. Save $10 on your first order at bruntworkwear.com/Pats or with coupon code PATS.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas. And the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex, this contours to it. So the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience.
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas. And the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
We want to hear from you. So call the hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
Welcome back into the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. As you can tell, we're really excited about this win. So we have a lot to talk about. Perillo is still here. Mike Dussault is still here. Kwani Lunis. And you are going to take it away.
Well, it's time now, Kwani, for Building the Next Legacy, presented by Autodesk, the official design and make platform for the New England Patriots. Autodesk Construction Cloud is a platform trusted by contractors, owners, and our New England Patriots to design and build the next legacy. That's what Patriots are trying to do. And guys, today, I think I'm going to, for the thing to build off of out of this game, it's Kayshon Boutte. It's the ancillary threats in the offense. We saw Pop Douglas, Boutte step up. Maybe at some point we'll see Diggs enter that mix, and all three at once can have a great game. But I think the biggest thing for me coming out of this game to build off of is getting those other targets going. Drake Maye showing trust in both of them. If you can get 3 really good targets that can, connect with the quarterback, especially in key moments, I think you're cooking with gas. So that's your Building the Next Legacy pick of the week this week, Kayshon Boutte, secondary threat.
So when we, before the show, we talk about, so we got to do the, the legacy to build on, and Kwani goes, and then Paul, then you can make some comments. And I generally say, Mike generally handles that. I don't have anything to add. I like that one so much that I feel compelled to just give Mike a pat on the back. I think that's the ancillary, like the complementary parts to the passing game is an excellent one to build on. And you saw it today, why it can be so important. I agree with Mike. That's a really good one. Not that you need me to validate you.
No,
but
I like when you do though, Paul, because you're.
I know. Sometimes
words of
you're
affirmation in your love language.
Sometimes you're needy, and you need.
No, I just need to be validated.
No,
constantly.
Kendrick Bourne today was a huge part of the equation, and you see the difference in the
Kendrick
offense.
Bourne was?
I mean, Kayshon Boutte.
Are they still playing? What's going on in the San Francisco?
Kayshon Boutte.
But this is where we're at.
It's all.
Let's talk about other games.
It's all blending together. Yeah. That's great. I mean, I think that's a great thing to build on. If you can, I mean, it's been a different guy virtually every week.
Yeah.
Today it was Boutte, but
I like what you pointed out too, Paul, of that Diggs. It wasn't like Diggs just was absent. Like
Nope.
he was
He still
still
made plays.
there in some key moments, coming through with some key catches. So they're definitely going to need Diggs to continue to be part of it. But great sign. Love to see it from Boutte and Pop Douglas too. So keep it going.
Keep it going. All right, we're going to take another break, but don't go anywhere. You are watching the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
This Patriots Postgame Show is brought to you by Pepsi. Game day is here, so stock up now. Grab a refreshing Pepsi Zero Sugar 12-pack now because tailgating deserves better. And by Tostitos. Football fans know traditions matter. They are what inspires us to make our masa and Tostitos the traditional way, starting with whole corn kernels. Discover your next tradition this football season. Head to the store, grab your Tostitos team bag, and scan the code for a chance to score an epic experience with the Patriots. Tostitos, tradition matters.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience,
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
The future with AI will twist and turn. Cisco is the critical infrastructure for the AI era, clearing your path to wide open possibility. Cisco.
It ain't my dad's razor, Dad.
Hey, watch it.
It's from Gillette Labs. This green bar releases trapped hairs from my face.
Game changer.
While the Flex Disc contours to it, so the 5 blades can get virtually every hair in one stroke. For the ultimate Gillette shaving experience,
The best a man can get
is Gillette Labs.
Let there be ideas too big to stay ideas, and the software to make them soar. Let there be anything. Autodesk.
We want to hear from you. So call the hotline at 855-PATS-500 or email the show at podcast@patriots.com. Now, back to the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings.
Welcome back into the Patriots Postgame Show presented by DraftKings. To my left, Matt Smith and Paul Perillo. To my right, Mike Dussault. I'm Kwani Lunis. Thank you for sticking with us here on the Postgame Show. And Matt is here with some questions and some good news.
It's just a post-game report, a little bit Kwani. But before we get to it, ladies and gentlemen, what's the scuttlebutt post-game? 4-2 Patriots.
Hey,
Drake May.
Mr. May.
We got our guy,
Let Drake
as Fred
bake.
Kirsch says.
Okay.
Let Drake bake.
May all the way. And we got all kinds of sayings.
Yeah.
As
We're
impressed
prepared.
as I think many were with the way that Mike Vrabel prepared the team to go to Buffalo, this wasn't perfect. Paul, I think you called it on TV on Tuesday. You said there'll be some tractor pull parts of this game that are not going to look pretty. They did just enough to win in a place where many teams, after a win like the Buffalo game, they throw that one away. And I give Mike and the staff a lot of credit for having them do just enough to stay in this game and win this game. Is that fair?
I think they were great. I think they played a great game today. And I give Mike and the staff and the team, like, they scored touchdowns the first 3 times they had it.
Right.
I underestimated New Orleans. I got to be honest. I mean, I got to say when I'm wrong, I'm wrong. I didn't think New Orleans was any good, and they matched them blow for blow.
Right.
I don't think the Patriots were flat. I don't think the Patriots took them lightly. I don't think they were looking ahead, behind, or indifferent. I think they played well, and the other team played well and stuck with them. And the Patriots made the plays because of Drake May again.
Right.
That's the best news that you could possibly have, is your quarterback is the difference between you winning and losing for the second week in a row. Yeah. You know, it got all the headlines last week when it was Josh Allen, but it's every bit as important that he made all the plays instead of Spencer Rattler today. Every bit as important. The wins all count the same.
So let's start with the post-game report and hear from the Patriots head coach, Mike Vrabel.
I just kept battling. You know, none of it was perfect today, and you know, give them a lot of credit. They competed, they answered, but you know, we extended plays and made some huge plays down the field, and you know, glimpses of good football. And you know, we'll have to clean up a lot of things, but certainly great to go on the road and be able to get a win.
Initial thoughts on how Keyshawn played today?
I mean, I think he factored and certainly came up huge at the end. You know, I think he's just gotten better, and just like his demeanor, never too up, never, you know, never too down, and just, you know, sometimes the ball finds him and he makes the plays, and when it doesn't, he, you know, just kind of understands that it just wasn't his snap, and then to be there at the end there to take a good hit and score, and then to come up with a huge play there at the end that really, you know, went in there and won the game for us on a third down. So I think you see the confidence that Drake has with him, his play strength, and his ability to go frame the football in a big situation. So I hope he can enjoy this for a few minutes with his family and anybody that was down around here, and just a big play for him. We will never not enjoy and embrace winning in this league, but I do think that guys are very aware of the fact that it can be better and that it will have to be better the more that we go along here and play. So I think that's a good sign that they know that there's some plays that we left out there that we could have played better, but to do that on the road and be able to end it with the ball offensively and in victory formation is, fun.
So I think that's his message for this week. Don't apologize. We're not worried about style points. Okay, winning in the National Football League and on the road is hard. It's achievement. Celebrate it for 15 or 20 minutes, and let's move on. And I think they're buying into that. They're repeating him about things like that, and that's the mark of, young team trying to learn what it takes to win in the National Football League.
And even him mentioning the fact that Booty himself staying even keeled throughout the game, and in this press conference, the way that they obviously just won, and he's very kind of somber, which kind of Mike Vrabel just kind of serious, still kind of emphasizing that to the rest of his team.
Yeah, I think you're seeing the team take on a little bit of the identity of the head coach. Mike, I think is very, wouldn't you guys and gals say, Mike's business-like, pretty matter of fact. I think that's what you're seeing the Patriots team sort of take on that persona a little bit. Today was a business-like kind of a win.
Yeah, no, I felt good for Booty. I would just say on Booty, though, he's been here a few years. Like, I've never seen him any different. Like, he's always just, like, serious, kind of not really loquacious. He's never, Douglas, you can see from our interview. He smiles and personality. Kyle Williams smiles, Mac Allen smiles, personality. Booty's just kind of straight and narrow, but I think it works for him, and he's coming through.
And I get where Mike is coming from. He's the coach. He's trying to keep everybody down. I think they played better than he sort of sounded.
Yeah.
I mean, it's not perfect. I mean, I'm not expecting a perfect thing. I mean, there's penalties. There's, some of the defensive, starts to these games, I'm sure he's less than thrilled with. But, I mean, I think it was 3 of the first 4 possessions they scored touchdowns on. I mean,
well, it's funny, Paul, is I think
they're not good enough yet to play 60 total minutes of domination.
Yeah, right. And you're right, like, earlier saying, like, to evaluate this team on as a 4-2 team and not as the team that won just 4 games, but at the same time to remember that
they were good today.
They were just a team that won 4 games last year, and it's not all going to be perfect yet. There's still a lot to work towards.
If they did what people feared and overlooked this game and came out flat, they'd have lost if the Saints played like that. They played a game they needed to play well because the other team played pretty well, and I like I said, I don't think that they fell into any of those those traps or pitfalls that people were worried about. I think they came out ready to play. They gave up a bomb on the first play, but they forced a field goal. Took them 3 plays to sort of resettle down. Marcus Jones makes the play, and then they take the ball and go right down the field with a bomb and score.
Yeah.
Like, that's a good start to the game.
Yeah.
4 minutes into the game, you have a 7-3 lead. Like, they didn't come out. They didn't come out flat or asleep.
I just remember last year's Houston game when Drake hit that big play to Booty, being like, "Oh my God, like we have a guy who can actually do this," and now he's doing it like 3-4 times in a game. It just speaks to Drake growing confidence, rounding out his game, and I just love the fearlessness in his game of being willing, 4th down, 3rd down, rip it, go back, willing to go toe to toe with teams, and I think that's what what Vrabel said. I think this is a team that's learning how to win these kind of games.
Yes.
These are the kind of games generally in the NFL. They're all kind of close. You're not going to just pound teams like you did with Carolina walking away a couple weeks ago. That's an anomaly. This is what it's got to be like every week, and you've got to be willing to endure the ups and downs, not get ahead of yourself. Not I think it was Pete Carroll a couple. Not get ahead of yourself and decide what the result's going to be ahead of time, and get this experience of fighting in tough games where you've got to make the last play to win it. It's critical.
So that was a head coach. Now let's go back to the podium and listen to the players' side of the win over the Saints today.
It's huge. Anytime, Coach just said, you got to celebrate, winning in this league, no matter how it is, no matter how, much we could have played better and how much we left out on the plate. But Saints are a good team. They have some good players, and they played hard, and it was tough playing here at home, at their place. So just proud of the guys for coming out with a win and good to get out of here and get on next week.
It was amazing coming back home, first time playing in the Superdome. A little emotional at first. It felt like a full circle moment. First time I've been back playing here. So I think everything was cool, but got comfortable as we went on. But like you said, great team win. I feel like all the guys bought in. You know, we got the dub.
I think last year's in the past, and just trying to keep building and hopefully, we just keep showing up every week and being a tough team to play on the road and winning at home is what we're trying to build. So I think we're on the way to that.
3-4 years ago, I wasn't in the best position. I think a lot of off the field stuff. I kind of look at myself like I've been through a lot, and I feel like I'm finally getting back together and everything coming good. So I feel like it's good to beat the adversity and just keep working.
Not me. It's not me. It's not a me game. And felt like that I needed this, and man, it feel good. It feel good to win and play for the team.
It's a lot of fun. We do it for one reason, to win. We all have the same goals, so it's just a blessing to be able to be out here, with my guys and everything, and taking it one week at a time.
Patriots have been a team that's always traveled well with fans. To leave the field in a road stadium, and you have a large number of fans there that you're heading to the locker room, what's it mean?
Yeah, that's sweet. I probably need to give them some more, some energy to pump them up. But it's awesome seeing how much, how well we travel, how many fans come out to the games. As it should be. It's one, I think it's the best sports city in the world, with Boston. So we expect to travel well, and we'll finally give them something to travel for.
We're back to the fans, won't it?
There you go.
A little smooch.
Give them something to
I like
travel
I like
for.
that he said Boston.
Yeah. Two other things that kind of stood out to me a little bit. The self-awareness maybe of Kayshon Boutte and the maturity and admitting, geez, I wasn't in a great spot. That was pretty interesting to hear. And the other one is Marcus Jones, and I think it's a little bit coach speak repeating. It's a great 1 week season. I think they're starting again. What I alluded to earlier. I think they're buying into what Mike's selling, and there's a professionalism.
Yeah. I agree. They're buying in. There's no question about that.
Can I tee you up, Paul? What was the first big play of Kayshon Boutte's career? Like the first big moment of it. You remember?
Wasn't it the Houston game?
No, his first game.
Stepping out of bounds on
Miami.
4th and 10 against Philadelphia.
I think it's interesting and I never really killed him about that.
Neither did I.
But we've also seen him the last couple of weeks having extreme awareness of when to, getting feet in, getting down. It just shows progress in his game and where he's come from as a guy who, he got benched for the rest of the year because he didn't get his feet down, and now he's the kind of player that you can count on in those kind of moments.
Did Stretch get a game ball for the challenging whether it's taking the feet in or not? Did Stretch get a game ball for that?
I'm sure he did.
I have a way different view of that whole play, but I'll save it for
And then just another question for the three of you here. You are forced for one game to watch one situation here. Your lives depend on it. It's either a Sean Hockley game or an Adrian Hill game.
Just end it. Just end it right now.
What is your choice as to which game you're going to watch?
I don't
want to
watch
one of them.
There's like one guy in the league that I can kind of stomach, and that's Bill Vinovich. And that's it. And even he calls too many penalties. I don't want to see any of these guys ever. Anywhere.
Why would you do that? Why would you ask us
anywhere? I have no use for any of these officiating crews and their picayune alignment shift. Guy touched his arm on that one. That's a penalty. On that one, it's not. That one's a touchdown. That one's incomplete. They just flip coins. I'm done. I'm done watching it. It's tough.
It's gotta be hard to coach, Paul, don't you think? How do you coach?
Yeah,
it?
well, that's like Mike's whole thing. I mean, Vrabel just looks like he's like, just tell us what to do. I mean, what's the answer? It's that's not a position anybody can operate in. I mean, it's always, remember Bill used to say, like, we got to do business as being done. Well, what about when business being done just haphazard? You don't know what's what. And,
I showed you the plays. Like, Boutte's touchdown is the same thing that happened to Diggs. No call on Boutte touchdown, call on Diggs' bomb. Like, why? What's the difference?
Right.
It is frustrating that obviously they can't comment on officiating. You get fined for that. But also, we talked about earlier, Mike Vrabel and the team saying even keeled throughout that as well and not letting those bad calls affect their play. But where does the accountability stand when it comes to the refereeing of these games if it's literally deciding a winner versus a loser?
Yeah, I mean, I hate talking about this
I know,
stuff. It's just like
but
exhausting.
this is one where you,
but I'm not talking about. That's why I don't do that. I'm not talking about the.
They were against us today. It was just.
It was against everyone.
Nope. I'm purposely pointing out plays that went against the Patriots and for the Patriots.
Exactly. Yeah.
Because I don't want it to be like, oh, the Patriots.com guys are bitching about the refs.
Yeah,
That's not what we're doing. I'm telling you, the refereeing, there's a problem in the league.
Yeah.
on every game that I watch, there's a problem with the way the game is officiated. And Matt Smith had the perfect line. It's over officiated.
Yeah.
And it's every game, every week. It's not for or against the Patriots.
Yeah, and the announcers who are, usually paid to be down the middle, even they're having trouble just,
Well,
avoiding being like
struggling to swallow. Like, what do I say here?
Right.
This is really blatant.
I mean,
the
Gene's coming on.
Gene's
Gene's like,
I don't know. I can't
what are
answer
we
the
paying you for?
Right.
If he didn't know, then that's
Like, I'll
clearly
give
a
you
problem.
one that went for the Patriots that, sort of on the 2-point conversion.
Oh, yeah.
Right?
Mm-hmm.
I watched the 2-point conversion live, and I said, he's in. Put your arms up. I'm yelling at the screen. Put your arms up.
Right.
They said he didn't get in. Yeah. They showed 17 replays. I never saw the ball go anywhere near the goal line. I couldn't see it.
Picture, but
I
very
should give credit
surprised
where credit
that.
is due. Of course, I can't remember it, but somebody goes, it took a security camera from a liquor store in order to,
that overhead camera.
If that's what
in order to make sure that it was
if that's what they saw, they saw that the ones they showed on CBS never showed the ball over the line.
Yeah.
And now I think he was in. I think it was the right call. And at the end of the day, I think they got it right.
Yeah.
This is
but
the
they called it.
camera from the liquor store.
You could see the ball there.
No, but it's a better look of any of them that they had, in my opinion.
No. I'm just saying. I think he's in.
I think he's in here.
I think he got it. When I watched the play live, I yelled at the TV, "Put your arms up."
Mhm.
He's in.
The only time you see the ball in this footage is when the ball snapped, of course. You never see it go over the line.
I do not see the ball go over the line there. I don't.
So,
which is
in
why
that-
it's confusing that they overturned
in that
it.
case,
Yeah.
Because they go like this.
In that case,
Flip a
aren't you
gray.
supposed to sit there and say the call on the field was he didn't make it? Don't you stick with
Unless
it
you
if
have a
it's
definitive
irrefutable?
look that shows the ball, and in that mass of humanity, I don't
Right.
think you can see it.
Exactly.
Like I said, the Keyshawn Booty pushes off in the end zone, no call. Stephon Diggs pushes off down the sideline, call. I don't get it. I don't what are they doing?
Right.
Why is one a penalty? The only one I will definitively say I just didn't understand was the one on Diggs that
with
wiped
the eye.
out the second
Yeah.
Douglas touchdown.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, that's just running, and they collide. Like there was a little contact near the line. That's not pass interference.
And had no impact on the play whatsoever. That's
But
the
they
other
don't
part.
know it doesn't have an
Yeah,
impact on the
okay.
play. It wasn't a penalty even if they threw the ball to Diggs.
Right.
And that's basically what Gene Steratore said. Like, I don't really know about this one, guys.
Yeah,
And I
right.
give them at least a little credit now with some of these guys. Some of these guys, and Steratore is one, who's not afraid to
be honest.
Criticize the Brotherhood?
well, he's not afraid to be different than the call that they go with.
Yeah, that's true.
You know, so many of them, Mike Perillo was like that too. He would say what he thought.
Yeah.
Some of these guys that come on, they just like whatever the call
Pauly
is.
for NBC does a decent job.
Whatever the call is, they just say, yeah, no, I see that one. Yeah. Who was the guy on ESPN that night that I thought Troy Aikman was going to take a bat to someone's head?
Yeah.
Like, no, I'm not going to keep my mouth shut. And he just started ranting and raving.
Hey, quick PSA if you find yourself like me sitting, who are the three teams they beat in 2022?
Yeah.
Well, it was the Jets, the Colts bye week, and then the Jets again. So three barn burners there
Colts
against not exactly a murderer's row, but they did win 7 in a row in 2021. So it was a little bit.
It's the
Buffalo,
eyebrows
sure,
for me.
but Carolina and New Orleans, like 3 years from now, you're going to say, not exactly barn burners there.
We'll always have Buffalo.
Buffalo was in the middle.
Always have
I
Buffalo.
thought I heard Zoe off the air in
Carolina
the
beat the
fifth quarter,
Cowboys.
say there's
The
7
Cowboys
teams.
stink too.
There's 7 teams over 500 in the AFC, and the Patriots are one of them. Mike, does that sound right?
That I can
Yeah,
tell you.
they were. That was the case last week. They were in the playoffs last week as the 3 and 2.
There are 7 teams with 4 wins, or Indianapolis has 5, and then everybody else is 2 wins.
I mean,
or
we're all
less.
just chasing the Colts, Mike. As we know, they're the best team in the AFC.
Well, not after today, Paul.
That's what I
5-1.
read. No, but I read that last week.
Pittsburgh's 5-1 too. So maybe it's
Buffalo's no
Pittsburgh.
longer a threat. Indianapolis.
Right. What are we doing?
Anything to take away from the Patriots.
Always. All right. Well, overall, we're talking about Vrabel and the culture. What would you all say this performance, particularly, how does it identify not only his identity as a coach, but just how they're being able to build under him right now?
I just think just keep fighting. That's I think that's kind of what the hallmarks with them that I've enjoyed, that I don't think has necessarily existed the last couple of years, and especially when the season gets going down the drain, you find that teams' ability to punch back and quit, it goes pretty quick as you get along the season, and the Patriots should not even be close to that point right now. So, but it's just good to see that they're getting in games where it's not just handed to them on a silver platter. They have to go out and make some plays. And, at the end of the day, though, it's just when you have a quarterback, I think it trickles down through the whole team. And you have that confidence of, if you're Spillane or one of these guys, leaders on defense, saying, "Hey, we get this last stop, our guy can score," and that hopefully that's the case too when they're down by some points and they got to
go hand in hand. You're right, because there's no question that they have that from Vrabel, the fight through it, and they've responded to. They haven't had a lot of adversity, but when they've had it, they've responded to it immediately, which has been, I think, reflects very well on Vrabel.
Yeah,
but just as important is the Maye part of it, because how many times do you see teams say, "Well, we stopped them twice. They just can't move the ball." And you stop rolling, like the Jets today.
Yeah,
the Jets defense couldn't have played any better.
Yeah.
But they get minus 10 yards passing, there's just no believability. And I know that's an extreme example, but they know they have a quarterback that as long as they don't really ruin the game defensively, they're going to have a chance to win, because they're going to be in the mid-20s at minimum, if not more. And I think they're trending to the more.
Am I making too big of a deal out of the touchdown that was wiped out, the second one to Douglas? Terrible call. I think Douglas said that there were guys that were already seated on the bench before they came back out.
That's when the
because
flag
of the
came
flag.
It was as bad a call as I've seen.
I still didn't. I never saw the flag. I never even saw the two.
I don't think it ever actually went down.
That could be a pretty demoralizing moment.
Yeah.
You're getting penalized for that.
Yeah.
You get a touchdown wiped off. You're going backwards. They managed to muddle through it and still score on that drive. And it was, Mike, you probably have the play-by-play log. It was at least a 50 or 60-yard drive in order to finish that with Booty, and that was a takeaway ball by Booty. That's, we're not talking about
the only thing
death
is
and taxes, but that's a little adversity there that they overcame.
But it was 6 plays again. It was four play. There was a 4-play touchdown drive and then a 6-play touchdown drive. The big plays were just. I don't know if they, like I said, Brandon Staley's supposed to be all about too deep and keep everything in front. And something that Josh McDaniels and the offensive staff saw, they wanted to attack down the field, and they did so with effectiveness. That was just great stuff. No, I agree with you, Matt. Getting the touchdown after losing that touchdown was, a sign of maturity. Right. I totally agree.
A lesser team would go sulk.
Kwani brought it up as part of her good list at the beginning of the show. But I totally agree that you can easily say, well, we should have had another touchdown, and now we'll spend the rest of the game claiming we got screwed.
Exactly.
Instead, they went down and scored the touchdown and made it a moot point.
Yeah, well, along those lines, in the next-gen stats, the Saints actually played a really high rate of single high safety, 64.5%.
I wonder why.
And against that, Maye was 11 of 17, 190 yards, 3 touchdowns. So the deep plays were clearly single coverage, high coverage, and they attacked.
So maybe it's just one that, as usual, the media was all wrong. Right?
Mike, one thing I heard you talk about, not to put any rain on the parade, what's the concern level of the running game?
Oh,
very high. I mean, I think that's the biggest point for this Patriots team right now. Just to truly, if you really want to see Drake Maye in the offense, what they can be, I think as Christian said, see what they're really capable of. It's hard to truly know it's not just that they're it's completely ineffective, right? I mean, and today I felt like it even took a step backwards to the point where there were a lot of negative runs today.
How many tackles for us?
I mean, I'll effort that, but I think that's a great point. I don't know. It's just did not seem like they're headed in the right direction with those guys. And
13 carries for 18 yards. That's a stunning stat line.
Yeah, I mean, Stevenson had 5 stuff runs. Henderson had 3. They got Drake for 4. I imagine those are some of the sacks.
2 longest runs of the day were 7 yards.
Yeah, I mean,
Henderson and Stevenson each had a 7-yard run. That's it.
Yeah, it's not great. Not great.
And the only thing the only saving grace is that the run defense has been every bit as good as the running offense has been bad.
Yeah.
Their longest run of the day was 7 yards.
I mean, I think the only difference really was that the Patriots had a little bit of lead in the second half and they had to throw it a little bit more. But otherwise, they were both still just handing it off to run into the brick wall. So I don't know what the answer is. I don't think there's an easy fix. It's one of those things where you have to continue to grind on it.
It's amazing how similar the stats. I mean, both guys threw it 26 times. Neither team could run it. They roughly ran it the same.
Big plays.
19 first downs for the Patriots, 17 first downs for the Saints.
Yeah.
It's just really 5.7 average per play for the Patriots, 5.8 for the Saints. So it was a good game.
With the big plays factored in too. It's a pretty
very
interesting
even
number.
game.
Yeah, but it's really just the long touchdowns and the turnover, really. I mean, that's kind of, when you boil it down, that's how you get to 6.1.
All right, we're getting calls and emails. I'm going to head to, let's start with Kevin in Nashville.
Kevin.
Kevin, you awake?
Yes. Hey, guys.
Hi.
I respect what you guys are doing. I love it.
Thanks, man.
Thank God the Patriots won because some of those penalties were absolutely absurd. Steph Diggs is playing patty cake with the corner, and I'm usually not someone to blame the ref, but if you're going to call that on Steph, you got to call it on the Matt Collins play. But anyways.
No, they didn't call it on Marcus Jones either in the end zone, so let's just be even.
Well, no, I think if you're going to call it on Steph, you got to call it on the DB.
Right, well, then if they called it on the DB, they should have called it on Marcus Jones in the end zone on Olave, and they didn't. So sometimes you get them, sometimes you don't. The penalty that took away Demario Douglas's second touchdown was the worst call I've ever seen in the NFL. I'm not exaggerating.
I love it.
It's the worst call I've ever seen in the NFL.
It's not hyperbole.
Yeah.
It's not hyperbole.
No.
I also think
All the rest of it was bad, blatantly bad both ways.
Sorry, Kevin.
That call was just patently absurd. Like,
including that I never saw the flag, never once.
5
I don't
or
know
6
who
yards
threw it or where
downfield,
it
two
came
guys
from or
are
what.
like jostling with each other, and the ball gets thrown 50 yards downfield, and they call offensive pass interference. I've never seen it.
Did Hill announce Douglas is pushing off when they first announced the
No,
penalty? They initially announced Douglas.
No.
Well, there was nobody
Oh,
near
yeah.
him.
I think the
They
broadcasters thought that.
Yeah,
but I
they-
don't know.
they-
It was
they-
a
like-
broadcaster miss.
I see. I don't think but they originally, I think, said that it was on Hooper, and they were looking at the replay to see if Douglas had pushed off somewhere. But they never said it was on like the
Douglas anyway.
And then they immediately changed it from Hooper on the stats to Diggs.
Okay.
And then they showed us what Diggs was doing, and I was like,
still doesn't make sense.
that's unbelievable.
Right.
That's unbelievable that they would call that.
I know we don't want to over harp on the reffing, but I do want to read this email because it's very eye-opening. So Alex Balestros, he said, "Hey everyone, couldn't help but tune into the Saints post-game show. Not as cool as yours, but he was shocked as how they were shocked at how awful the officiating was. This was all bad time anyway within the few minutes that they had. So clearly the other side is feeling the same brunt of the officiating, despite the obviously for them it's a loss. Exactly. And I think we all agree on that, but I'm glad that he tuned into the show for us. So thank you, Alex.
Yeah. I mean, how do you feel like people who have money on the games?
Yeah,
And this is like,
that's a good point too. Yeah. Oof.
I don't know.
Well,
man.
that's a whole other.
That's a problem.
Yeah. All right, let's see what Eldred in North Carolina has to say.
Hey, Kwame. Hey, Paul, Mike.
Hey.
Both Mikes. How y'all doing?
What's up, Big E?
What up?
Yeah, I enjoyed the win. But that defense and that offensive line, y'all keep wanting to blame the running backs. You can't run if you ain't got no hole. And Big Mike, like, was getting beat 85% of the time.
Yeah.
So, and that linebackers and safeties, it's them zone reads or whatever, they just dropping back too deep to why they kill them in the middle. But other than that, love it. I'm glad I didn't have to put on the Saints jersey either. So y'all have a good one.
You got a lot of grudges going on, Eldred.
You had a bet?
Eldred, huh?
You have a lot of grudges.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I talk a lot of noise. I've been doing it for 25 years. So since we went the other way, now they keep shooting back at me.
Hey.
Love it.
So y'all have a good one.
All right, Big E.
Thanks for calling in.
Real quick, the Patriots, according to Nation, had 12 run stuffs. 38.7% of their rushing attempts were stuffed.
40%.
The Saints had 3.
I'll wait to see how many Bedard has
Saints
them
had
with.
3. Well, you need the real answers. But yeah, it's just, I mean, the numbers jumping out too. This will be a story this week for sure about how to get that run game going. Everyone will have their claws out for that one.
Yeah.
Well, like I said, it just kind of, and I know Mike sort of said that they felt like they were close.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Which is not the same as saying the running backs aren't doing a good job of like maximizing the yardage, which took on a life of its own in the second half of this week. And I was just like, I watch all the games. I pride myself in really not missing a play.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't really, to my mind's eye, I don't recall like a lot of plays where I was like, wow, he missed a wide open hole if he had just cut left. Like, I think they've had some opportunities for big plays that were just a hair away. But I don't think there's been a lot of them. Oh, wow.
Called the timeout to
Green Bay just froze a guy in a 67-yard field goal that he made. Oh, that's a killer.
Dang it, they got us.
That's a killer.
Zach
All right,
Taylor.
let's take a
red
break.
zone.
JV is in Cincinnati. Let's see who has to say before we go.
JV.
JV.
Hey guys, thanks for taking my call. I want to give you my take on the run game. First of all, I think McDaniels has been fantastic for Maye this year, but one glaring problem I have with him is they just run, it seems like, every first down. Even the non-existent people that don't watch the Super Bowl know he's going to run on first down, so it keeps putting him in 2nd and 8, 2nd and 10.
Mike, do you have the numbers for first down runs? Because I don't think this is accurate either.
We're gonna
I know
fact check
at
you.
the end of the game they were running when they were trying to run the clock out, and they were running on first down. But do you have the numbers
It
like in
might
the
be kind of hard. Give me a moment. Talk amongst yourselves.
Loading.
Here's
Right.
the topic. Ramondre Stevenson, is he doing better?
Yeah, right.
and he missed this
Missed
one.
that one. Good ice.
Oh, someone played music for me.
Always watching NFL Red Zone. He is checking out. Looks like we're on our own. He's watching the plays from some other games. That's when this show gets really lame. And that's
we're-
how you know.
Oh my God.
Paul's watching the Red Zone.
Yep.
Wow.
Okay,
But
so
Matt,
thank
but
you
Matt
for that.
Smith was doing it with me.
That was the perfect amount of
By
time.
the way,
That was amazing.
Marine Corps, we needed that in the pregame show when we went for 10 minutes dissecting the Jets Denver debacle.
Oh my goodness. Yes.
I did say to Mike in that one, allow me a brief rest
Yeah,
video.
no, I know.
I think at this point, the
Seriously,
audience
would you not think that it would be wiser to try to kick like a 67-yard field goal or a
Yeah.
65 than a
No,
fourth
give
than
him
a
a
4th and 8
again,
in a day
yes.
where you have 10 yards passing?
Exactly.
Deuce your.
So I have efforted this.
Thank you.
So one of the 25 first down plays, including a kneel down, 15 runs, 15
Okay,
of 24.
I need them broken down.
And oh geez, but he also threw 2 of the touchdowns on first down.
Okay,
To-
thank you.
To Booty, the big one to Booty.
The first
and,
one-
both of them to Booty. Both of them to
The
Booty.
one to Douglas was a first
That's a
down, was it
myth breaker,
not?
Don't you think, Mike?
Sorry, once a time. Yeah, sorry,
deep
3
over-
touchdowns. 3 touchdowns on first down to
Right.
Booty. So
Right.
yeah.
There we go.
That's a JV question.
all right.
We
needed a varsity
JV, right?
question.
That was
No,
well done.
like
Well done.
you're going to end up with more first down runs when you win the game because you had
bleed clock.
Yeah, the last 4 or 5 first downs of the game were all runs because you're bleeding clock.
Right.
And I mean, really, up the
Excuse the numbers.
Excuse the numbers.
Yeah,
like,
I mean, it's pretty well balanced. In
like
the early
Vrabel says.
going. There was a Mace scramble in there as well, but.
Right.
Sorry, do you need anything
Which
else?
is
Do you
a
want me to break
pass.
it down
All right,
anymore?
no more
anymore?
stats for you.
You've done a good job.
More than
Mike.
enough?
Chef's
Okay.
You're
kiss.
crushing
Mike.
it.
As we're
Chef's kiss.
As we're winding down here, I have a question for you for
Yeah.
the week.
Huh?
You said the running game is going to be a story. Obviously, it's going to be a story this week. What's the head coach's take going to be on the return to Nashville theme that's coming
Just another game?
this week?
Just
another
another
game.
How does he handle that?
He
Just
won't
another
say
one.
anything about
Yeah.
it, but it's going to be burning in
Yeah.
his craw
I
always.
bet you
him
Harold,
and
I bet you
Harold
Harold
Landry.
Landry
Yep.
too. Harold Landry will
Two
have some.
chips on their shoulders.
Yep, there'll be. And
So
I think
will Harold Landry speak for the coach?
I don't
no,
think so.
Harold Landry barely talks as it is, which
Yeah.
I love about him. But I do think that it won't be said, but I think that everyone on the team understands what this game's going to mean to their head coach, who they're playing hard for right now. So I'd expect this third leg of the road game to see a maximum effort from the Patriots team.
Did you ever see a media guy who says, which I love about him, he doesn't talk?
That's actually a great point.
No, he's just serious
Which I love
football
about
guy.
him.
Like,
There you go.
hey Harold, I've got to get. He's like, running with his string attached to his back. Like, no, he's consummate professional and takes it seriously. And no, I like some guys with personality, but I also like some guys who scare you a little bit. That's what you need.
Yeah,
in
we'll
football.
try
know
to
what to
make it a
expect.
storyline, but I don't think that Vrabel will allow it.
Take the
No.
cheese.
I don't think he'll allow
Internally,
it.
it may be.
Not
We just
about
won't
me.
know it
It's
exists.
about the players.
I mean, you can't do anything without the players.
That's
I
true.
mean, I say it
About
all
the
the time.
players.
It's always about the players. Yeah. Okay. Whatever.
All right. Well, that does it for this week's episode of the Patriots Postgame Show, as you know, presented by DraftKings for Matt Smith and Paul Perillo and Mike Dussault. I'm Kwani Lunis. Thank you for watching. We'll be back next week.
Hey, this is Alex. Thanks for tuning into the show. If you really want to help us, make sure you like us on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your podcasts. Also, make sure you follow us on the New England Patriots YouTube channel to see this show and everything else we do here at the Patriots. Thanks a lot.